Number 10. The exploding lake. Imagine standing on the shore of a beautiful, tranquil lake, a perfect photo op with a serene blue background. Everything is calm. And then, without warning, the entire body of water violently erupts in a massive cloud of suffocating, invisible gas, instantly killing every living thing for miles around. Congratulations, you've just witnessed a limnic eruption, or what scientists and horror movie writers call an exploding lake. Don't worry, it's not made of TNT. These lakes are extremely deep and contain vast amounts of carbon dioxide, CO2, at the bottom. The pressure of the water keeps the gas dissolved, like a giant superpressurized can of soda. A disturbance, maybe an earthquake, a landslide, or even a sudden change in temperature, can trigger the release. The CO2 bubbles out of the lake in an instant, creating a massive dense cloud that flows over the landscape, displacing all the breathable air. If you're a creature living in a valley below the lake, you're not getting a warning. You just stop breathing. The good news is, there are only 3 known limnic lakes in the world, and they're all in Africa. So, you're probably safe, unless your next vacation is to Lake Nyos in Cameroon. Basically, it's a terrifying natural phenomenon that turns a lake into a silent, odorless weapon of mass destruction. Number 9. The volcanic lightning. You're watching a volcano erupt, which is already a high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled spectacle. Ash and lava are shooting into the sky, and you're feeling the primal awe of Mother Nature's destructive power. Then a lightning storm, not from the clouds above, but from the plume of ash itself, begins to rip through the sky. This is volcanic lightning, and it's every bit as metal as it sounds. But how is a volcano making its own lightning? It's all about friction. As the ash, rock, and ice particles are blasted into the air at incredible speeds, they rub against each other, creating a massive static charge. The same thing happens when you shuffle your feet across a carpet in your socks, but on a scale so grand it could make a god blush. The lighter, positively charged particles get pushed to the top of the plume, while the heavier, negatively charged particles fall to the bottom. This separation of charges creates a massive electrical potential, and just like a regular storm cloud, the voltage gets so high that it creates a giant, terrifying bolt of lightning. So while it looks like the volcano is literally summoning a storm, it's really just a magnificent display of static electricity. It's a completely harmless, albeit extremely loud and spectacular side effect of the chaos. Number 8. The skyquake. Imagine you're just sitting at home, minding your own business, when you hear it. A loud, booming noise that sounds like a distant explosion or a sonic boom. The walls rattle, the windows shake, and your first thought is that something has just detonated in the next town over. But you check the news, and there's nothing. No explosions, no earthquakes, no military exercises. What you've just experienced is a skyquake, or a mystery boom, and it's one of those deeply unsettling phenomena that has no clear explanation. Scientists think it could be a few things. A distant meteor exploding in the atmosphere, a massive, far-off thunderstorm, or even a sudden shift in tectonic plates that sends a low-frequency rumble through the air. The most widely accepted theory, though, is that they're related to cryoseisms, or frostquakes. These happen when a sudden drop in temperature causes the ground to freeze and contract rapidly, and the resulting crack creates a booming sound that travels for miles. It's basically the sound of the earth throwing a temper tantrum. It's completely harmless, you won't get a concussion from it, but it's so loud and unexpected that it's easy to see why it spooks people. The only real danger is the existential dread that comes from not knowing what's happening. Number 7. The lenticular cloud. You're driving on a perfectly clear day and you look up to see a cloud. But this isn't just any cloud. It's a perfectly round, saucer-shaped cloud that looks like it was drawn by a UFO enthusiast. This is a lenticular cloud, and no, it's not a spaceship. It's also completely harmless, but it has caused countless alien invasion scares and conspiracy theories. So how does the sky make these perfect, ethereal disks? It all happens in the mountains. As air flows over a mountain or a range of mountains, it can be forced upward, creating a series of standing waves in the atmosphere. Imagine a rock in a stream. The water flows over it, creating a series of waves on the other side. The air does the same thing. If the conditions are just right, specifically, if the air is moist and stable, the water vapor condenses into a cloud at the crest of these waves. But because the air is constantly moving, the cloud appears stationary. The result is a perfect, smooth, lens-shaped cloud that hangs in the sky as if suspended by an invisible force. The cloud itself isn't moving. The water vapor is just condensing and evaporating in a continuous cycle as it passes through the crest of the wave. It's a beautiful, completely safe visual illusion that proves the most terrifying-looking things are often just physics showing off. Number 6. The Catatumbo lightning. Imagine living in a place where the lightning never stops. Not a few times an hour, not even a few times a minute, but a relentless, continuous flash that illuminates the night sky almost every single night of the year. This is the Catatumbo lightning, a mesmerizing and terrifying phenomenon that takes place at the mouth of the Catatumbo River in Venezuela, where it meets Lake Maracaibo. For up to 10 hours a night, for as many as 260 nights a year, lightning storms rage on, creating a natural light show that can be seen from over 250 miles away. So what's causing this non-stop cosmic strobe light? It's a perfect storm of geography and meteorology. The Catatumbo River flows into Lake Maracaibo, bringing with it massive amounts of marshland. During the day, the lake and the surrounding warm, moist air evaporate. When it hits the cold, mountain air from the Andes, it creates a massive, supercharged storm system. The perfect conditions for friction, static charge, and, you guessed it, lightning. While it looks like the ultimate weapon of the gods, this lightning show is actually completely harmless. It's almost always cloud-to-cloud lightning, not the dangerous cloud-to-ground kind that can strike people or objects. Basically, it's a terrifying-looking natural rave that serves as a beautiful, constant spectacle. Number 5. The starling murmuration. Imagine a sky full of birds. Not just a few hundred, but hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, all flying in a single coordinated swirling mass. They twist and turn, morphing into strange shapes that ripple across the sky like a liquid. This is a starling murmuration, and it's one of nature's most breathtaking and frankly unsettling ballets. At first glance, it looks like a single massive entity, but it's really a collection of individual birds, each following simple rules. Stay close to your neighbor, don't crash into your neighbor, and turn when your neighbor turns. These simple rules, applied on a massive scale, create complex, awe-inspiring patterns that look like a living tornado. Scientists aren't entirely sure why they do it, but the most popular theory is that it's a form of defense. By flying in a massive, unpredictable group, they make it harder for a predator, like a falcon, to single one out. It's a collective defense mechanism that turns a flock of vulnerable birds into a single, terrifying, shape-shifting monster. It looks like a CGI effect from a horror movie, but it's just a bunch of birds trying to stay alive. Number 4. The fire rainbow. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing a massive, brilliant rainbow stretched across the horizon, but it's not arcing in a perfect semicircle. It's flat, parallel to the ground, and looks like a giant, glowing slice of pure color. This is a circumhorizontal arc, more commonly known as a fire rainbow, and it's one of the rarest and most spectacular atmospheric phenomena you'll ever witness. It's also not a rainbow, and it has nothing to do with fire. This optical illusion requires a very specific set of conditions. The sun has to be at least 58 degrees above the horizon, and there must be cirrus clouds in the sky, which are those wispy, high-altitude clouds made of ice crystals. The sunlight passes through the hexagonal-shaped ice crystals, splitting into its component colors, just like a prism. The light then reflects downward, creating the brilliant, perfectly flat ribbon of color that you see. Because the sun has to be so high in the sky, you can't see them in higher latitudes, which makes them even more of a magical rarity. It looks like the sky is literally on fire with color, but it's just sunlight and ice crystals doing their thing. You are perfectly safe unless you are a vampire or you forgot your sunglasses. Number 3. The bioluminescent forest. You're walking through a dark, quiet forest at night, and something looks off. The ground is glowing, the decaying logs are pulsating with a faint, ethereal light, and the mushrooms look like they're plugged into a socket. You've stumbled upon a bioluminescent forest, and while it looks like something straight out of a fairy tale or a nightmare, it's just glowing fungi. This phenomenon is known as foxfire, and it's caused by a chemical reaction in certain types of fungi. As the fungus breaks down dead wood, a chemical called luciferin reacts with an enzyme called luciferase. This reaction creates light, much like a firefly's tail. Scientists aren't entirely sure why certain mushrooms do this, but the most popular theory is that the glowing attracts insects that then spread the mushroom spores, helping it to reproduce. It's an unsettling and beautiful display, but it's completely harmless. You're not being haunted, you're not hallucinating, and you're not about to be kidnapped by a woodland sprite. It's just the forest's way of telling you that the mushrooms are having a chemical rave, and you weren't invited. Number 2, the fall streak hole. Imagine looking up at a perfectly normal sky with a few light puffy clouds. Then, a massive hole, perfectly circular and ringed by a beautiful wispy halo, opens up directly above you. It's like the sky is a blanket, and something has just punched a hole through it from the other side. This is a fall streak hole, and it is a completely harmless, albeit deeply unsettling, meteorological phenomenon that looks like an act of celestial violence. So what's happening up there? It all has to do with supercooled water droplets. In certain types of clouds, the water can remain in liquid form even at temperatures well below freezing. They just need a little nudge to turn into ice. When something, like a passing airplane, flies through the cloud, it creates a momentary change in pressure that causes a chain reaction. The supercooled water droplets instantly freeze into ice crystals, which then begin to fall. As they fall, they pull the liquid water droplets around them with them, creating a cascade effect that carves a perfectly circular or elliptical hole in the cloud layer. It's a beautiful example of how a tiny disturbance can create a massive, beautiful, and completely terrifying result. It looks like a portal to another dimension, but it's really just a cloud taking a nap. Number 1, the blood rain. You wake up one morning and you look outside. It's raining, but something is wrong. The rain is red. It looks like it's raining blood, and your brain is probably screaming at you that this is the apocalypse. But it's not. It's just a strange, beautiful, and completely harmless natural phenomenon known as blood rain. So what's making the rain red? The most common cause is dust. Not just any dust, but very fine red dust from a distant desert. Strong winds can lift this dust thousands of feet into the atmosphere, where it gets caught in storm clouds and is transported for hundreds or even thousands of miles. When the clouds finally release their rain, the red dust mixes with the water, giving it a blood-red tint. This has happened all over the world, with dust from the Sahara Desert coloring rain in Europe, and dust from the outback coloring rain in New Zealand. It's a terrifying visual, but it's just a weird, colorful weather report from across the world. The only thing you need to worry about is a little extra mess to clean off your car. Basically, it's not the end of the world. It's just the Sahara's way of saying hello.